Amar Rav Yechanan, Sukkah ha'asuya ki kivshan. A sukkah that's made like a kivshan, like an oven, literally, which is the picture that you see, which the point is, it's a circular sukkah. Im yesh behekefa, if the circumference has k'de'elishiv ba chaf dalid b'nei adam, to sit in it 24 people, sheira v'im lav psula. Frakti Gemara, who's this going like Keman Kirebi? Tamar calls Sukkah Jemo Dalarama is psula. Says Rebbe, your sukkah needs to be 4 by 4. So says the Gemara, let's figure out if this math works. Mechti. Gav, Rabam Siyasva, a person takes up 1 amma. So that means that, and that means the circumference is 24 ammas. If it's a 3-to-1 ratio, diameter to the circumference. So therefore, if we need a diameter of 4 to make it 4 by 4, Frakti Gemara, no, not 8, 4. 12, I don't know, 16. Betracer Sagi, 4 times 3, because if the diameter is 4 and the circumference is 3 times that, 4 times 3 is Betracer Sagi, Frakti Gemara. Answers the Gemara, Hani Mili Bi'i Gula. When do we say that the circumference is 3 times the diameter? That's in a circle. Now, I want to try to speak out of detail here that I think we can understand the drop better. Let's see if it comes out clear. We'll try. Hani Mili, each time this line I've never gotten clear yet, but let's try. Hani Mili Bi'i Gula. When do we say that the circumference is 3 times the diameter, if it's a circle? Avol biribua, but if you're trying to figure out the quote-unquote circumference of a square, which in English we call a perimeter, baya tfei, then you're going to need more. Meaning, the Gemara is pointing out, we know that the square is 4 by 4. So how much around the square do you need? Now, why do you need to know that? We're going to eventually get to. Yet we don't know. But the Gemara is just saying a 12 circle is not the same size to get a square. So says the Gemara, so mechti. So now we're trying to figure out again the perimeter of the square, which everyone here knows is what? Kama meruba yoisel eagle, revia, b'shitzer sagi. So we know that how much is the square? The square is 16. So says the Gemara, the circle should not have to be more than 16. Again, this line I don't think we ever explained perfectly. Again, we know what, if we just speak this out outside, it's very simple.
We learned that the circle is inside.
That's going to be the next Gemara. But what's right here, this line, you know what the Gemara is saying? We know that a sukkah needs to be 4 by 4. What's the perimeter of a 4 by 4 square? 16. So what should the circle be? At least 16. And you told me 12. That's the kasha of the Gemara. 24. You told me 24. Then we equated that to be 12. But it really should be 16. Again, I want to speak of the kasha one more time. Rav Yochanan said it has to be 24 around. Says the Gemara, why 24? We know that the ratio of diameter to circumference is 1 to 3. If diameter is 4, it should have to only be 12. Because 4 times 3. Says Gemara, no. Because what's the perimeter of the square? 16. So what should the perimeter, circumference, of the circle at the very least be? 16. So what are you doing with 12? Or in reality, what are we doing with 24? Says the Gemara, now, until this point, it's very abstract, because you can't really plug it in, it doesn't really make sense. Now, says the Gemara, plug it back in. Hani mili, bi golden nothing mi gaireva. That's only if you have a circle inside the square. Then, if the square's perimeter was 16, the circle would be about 16. If the square is inside, then of course the circle has to be larger. Why? Because of the corners. So now, we basically, until this point, it was very, Gemara getting to this point. This is really the point we needed to get to. If I would have asked anyone here, if I have a square 4 by 4, give me a sukkah that size, you would have put the circle around it. So now is where the Gemara says, okay, we got to that point. So how big is that circle? Mechti, kol amsa, every amma berivua of a square is amsa utrechum shabalach is 1 2/5 on the diagonal. So if I have 4 by 4, what's the diagonal going to be? 4 times 2/5. Says the Gemara, 17 minus a fifth, which is 16 and 4/5. So why did you tell me 24? Oh wow, look at that. From Zoom to person. Why did you tell me 24? Says the Gemara, loidak. Says the Gemara. When Amrina loidak, porta only a little bit. Tuva mi Amrina loidak, that's crazy. So Amar le, Mark Shisha, Reder Rav Chisler, Rav Ashi, Mi Savris, and now we have a totally new pshat. Again, let's summarize pshat number one. Pshat number one was a person takes an amma. 24 people around in a circle, 24 amas. The circle is around the square. If the side of the square is 4, what's the diagonal? Multiply by 2/5, 16 and 4/5. Says the Gemara. So why do you need? So that would be the circumference. Again, I jumped a step. It's 4 by 4, so the diagonal is going to be that times 1 and 2/5, and then multiplied by 3 is 16 and 4/5. Says the Gemara, so why do you need 24? Loidak. Loidak is too much. Amle Mark Shid Breder of Chistel of Ashi and Nubshat. Misavris Gavra Ba'amsa Yosef. You think a person takes up a whole amma? No, the Chavra weren't so large. Talasa Gavri Betarti Amsa Yosef. 3 people sit in 2 amos. Says more. Okay, let's do the math again. Kama havilu. How much is that shitzar? That's going to be 16. Anan shifsar necheichom shabiinon. So now, if you're telling me 24 people and each 2 people take up 3 amos, says the Gemara, 24 times 2/3 is 16 amos. We just said you need 16 and 4/5. Says more loidak. Frag the Gemara, you can't do that. You can't say that the sukkah is a drop too small. It could be a drop too big. So back to original pshat. Loilam gavra b'amsa yasif. Really, each person is an amos, so it's 24 amos. For Rav Yochanan makai gavri like a chashiv. They're not sitting inside the circle, and rather they're sitting on the outside of the circle. Therefore, kama havi leho. So therefore, instead of having an 8 amma diameter, it's going to be a 6 amma diameter. You lose one person either side. So 6 times 3 is 18. Tamna 3 is 18. Therefore, b'shivsa nechechomsha sagya. Once again, 16 and 4/5 is all you need. But you're making it 18. Hainu loidak l'chumra loidak. Yes? Sorry?
I mean that sitting on the outside would be, but it's what they're talking about.
Why do we originally think the inside versus the outside?
Oh, no, why would we think the outside? I would think the inside.
No, it's true. Well, that is what we thought, but it didn't work out because it was too big. So we're trying to figure out how could Rav Yochanan make sense with the numbers that we need. So it says the Gemara, put the people on the outside, and then it works. It's true. It's a little bit strange. Why would he have said that? A sukkah told 24 people, let's say on the outside. It's an odd way to measure, but Lemaisa it works. Rabbanan de Kisri, Vamla Dayane de Kisri. The Rabbanan of Kesar, some said Dayanim of Kesar Amri, a fascinating pshat, which the scientists and the rabbis, scholarlists, try to figure out what happened over here. Igula denafik migoy riva, a circle that is inside the square, riva. Rivua denafik migoy igula, palga. If the circle is outside the square, then somehow they said the circle is twice the size of the square, which means if the square is going to be 4 amos in diameter, then the circle will be 8 amos in diameter, which will be 24 amos. Says Gemara V'lohi, that's crazy. The Chazin we see that is not the reality. So again, to chazer over this Gemara outside, let's just do it step by step to make sure we have clarity. Rav Yochanan, actually, I want to say let's say like this. Let's try to do something different. As follows: Rav Yochanan said, 24 people sitting in the sukkah. There are 3 points of how to understand Rav Yochanan. 3 points. The first point is each person takes up an amma. The second point is every 3 people take up 2 amas. And the third point is back to every person taking up an amma, but instead of sitting on the inside, they're sitting on the outside. Good. With that broad picture of Rav Yochanan, now let's zoom in and let's go a little bit deeper. If the first step was each person takes up an amma, so the Gemara in the beginning got a little bit confused over here. What's going on? If diameter is times 3 is circumference. If diameter is 4, you multiply by 3, so circumference is 12. Says the Gemara, but what do you mean? But the square perimeter is 16. So the circle has to be at least 16. But so why tell me 24? Says the Gemara, no, that's only if the circle is inside the square. We need a circle outside the square, and therefore it has to be bigger. Why? Because you need to account for the corners. Says the Gemara, okay, so let's do the math. This is where the math finally makes sense, that every side of a square in diagonal is 1 2/5. So if it's 4 on the side, then the diagonal is going to be what? It's going to be 5 and 2/5. And now if you multiply that by 3, you get 16 and 4/5. Says Gemara, Loidak, that's a pretty large Loidak. So says the Gemara, okay, so let's switch it. That every 3 people take up 2 amos, and therefore instead of having 24 in the perimeter, you're going to have 16 in the perimeter. Says the Gemara, it's too small. You need 16 and 4/5. Now it's only 16. So the Gemara goes back. It says, you're right. Really, each person is an amos. But instead of sitting on the inside, they sit on the outside, which means you get rid of the 2 people on the sides. Instead of the diameter being 8, the diameter is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Now the sukkah was to drop more than you needed instead of 16 and 4/5. Now it is 18, and it is beautiful. Then we have the Rabbanan, the Kesar, who seem to try to figure out that a circle is twice the size of the square, which is totally crazy. The Gemara says, leave it, because that is crazy. Givaldik. Yes?
Where we said, okay, it's 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then we said, but Lemay said it has to be 16 and 4/5.
Good.
But we can't say Loidak.
Good. Lukula. Yeah?
The question is, the whole 16, whatever, doesn't it, the 16 encounters to go outside outside the sukkah, right? At
Good.
the end of the day, what did we say? When the circle is inside the sukkah, you have to take off a quarter to account for the corners.
Good.
Now that you have the circle going outside the sukkah,
Good.
you again have extra space that's
Correct.
larger than
Correct.
the actual sukkah.
Correct.
So why can't we account for that space also that's larger, take off whatever that space is, which will get you much closer to the 16?
No, the reason is because
It's impossible because he was saying, no, we're talking about this
This
around Sukkah.
circle has to
We're
be
talking about
there.
building around Sukkah.
Right.
Correct. But again,
So he's saying that's the only way to do it, to have it in.
No, not true. No, it doesn't have to be, right?
Why?
Yeah. The difference between a sukkah, the size.
Okay, can I explain your kasha? I want to explain this kasha. I think I understand what your question is. The Gemara is assuming that the circle is going fully around the square, meaning if you were to figure out the area, let me explain. I'll explain it clearly. If you're trying to figure out the area of something, what's the area of a circle?
Color.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I think Taisus gets involved in your kasha, by the way. If you were trying to figure out the area of a square of 4x4, what's the area of a square of 4x4? 16 square amos. So now we need here, you need a paper? Here. Here, I'll do it for you. I'll show you the kasha. This kasha is, first we went like this.
Yeah.
So that's the Gemara. Okay, no good. So take the circle, and put it outside the square. Lamaisa, this circle area, we don't need it. Is larger than the square. So he's asking, maybe if we were to actually figure out the precise area of the square and the circle, literally it would fit. That's what he's asking. That's what he's asking. That's what he's asking. It's a good kasha.
Where would you go?
It would be, right.
Like this, basically, sir.
Right, exactly.
Taking off the corners.
Right, exactly.
Off the corners. So the
But then you're not sick. Then you don't have a 4x4.
No, but you do. The point is you need the area. Pashta says you need the area. So if you have a little more over there.
Minimum square footage.
Square footage. Good. So what's square footage of a circle? Square footage of a circle to a square. His point is, why does it have to be fully around?
We said
Could be a little bit
the
in.
Gemara here said the difference between this and this is a quarter.
Because it's not going to work. When you go down, it will still be less.
No, why? Again,
forget putting a square.
Forget the square. Forget putting the square in the circle.
Just
figure out how much your square footage, how much the diameter of the or the whatever the thing of the square.
I think.
Exactly.
I grad to think. This has been a few moons, but I do believe your kasha is a disgust. No, there's something wrong. No. One second.
It's gonna be a lot bigger.
That's what I'm saying.
No. You're right in words, but 1 second. I think there's a problem here. Here's a square. This is the diameter. One second. This is the diameter. This is the same diameter of our circle right now. I don't know if the picture is playing mind games on us. It's the same diameter.
I'll tell you why.
Oh, you're saying make it smaller?
Also,
I got it. I do think it's discussed. Yeah, you have to give a look. I think this might be something. He's asking a good kasha. That's a good kasha.
It's impossible to calculate. How much do you go smaller?
It's very simple. Hello, anyone that any eighth grader here will be able to calculate a second. Tell me if I need a square that holds 4x4, which is 16 square feet, call it. Now, I need a circle that holds 16 square feet. Tell me the circumference, the easiest thing in the world.
did it on my
It's the easiest thing in the world.
I Googled it.
It's not a big deal. It's going to be, he's right, it's going to be a little bit smaller. He's 100% correct. Of course it's going to be a little bit smaller.
What's the calculation?
Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's smaller.
It's a little bit smaller. He's asking a good question.
Googled it, whatever.
And you're saying maybe that little bit would have worked.
Instead of saying
I got the. I do think Taisus might get involved in that Nikuda. I do think so. Let's just start the next Gemara, then tomorrow we'll finish it. What's taking Chavra? Tuesday night, are you around or no? Is your son around? So you around Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Tuesday night, so that would be 2, 3, 4, 5. Yaakov, you're on Tuesday night?
Why not?
Okay, so maybe let's get a confirmation tomorrow. Maybe we'll do Tuesday night at 306 barbecue at.
What's the occasion?
Finish Chazarah. Finish Chazarah.
No, I'm all good.
No, finish Chazarah. No, the truth is, I'll tell you, the truth is after Sukkot, we took a jump to 25 minutes here. Lamaisa, since then, we've done a lot of Gemara. We've done a lot of Chazarah. So Lamaisa, before we start this, it's really half the parak, if you want to say it in that way. So before we start the second half, it's Kedai to, shtickle, celebrate a good Chazarah. And go out together with the Chavra. I think it's nice. What? Okay, say that we could do. That we could do. What's saying? If David's 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, we should be basically good. And then the question will be timing. We'll do Meir. We'll get 10. We'll learn for the best would be if we could sit down and chazer all 3 daf. That would be. How long does that take?
I heard RSVP has a room that can black out the window.
What do you mean?
To learn now 5 blats with the food in front.
No, hafuch. Then you eat like that's like a mensch.
While the food is there.
What's saying? How long should it take us to do 3 daf?
I'm changing my flights.
Gotta be careful. You don't know what people will pull off. Maybe the end of the parak. How expensive is it?
Very expensive.
Yeah? What are we talking?
More than reserve cost.
I don't know.
Expensive.
Listen, if everyone leaves their wives at home, then we'll be okay.
Tuesday night's better than Wednesday.
I don't know the budget.
Because Wednesday night we have another shear. Unless, I don't want to mess up the shear. We just started a shear. We have 6 guys. 6 guys.
We have to wait a few weeks.
Yeah, halavai. 6 guys.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to do this tomorrow. Avi, we're going to take a maskana. Well, let me just think about, I don't know why I'm this on recording.